Good day, everybody. Welcome to Streaming Card Consciousness. I'm Mark Ford, and as always, joined by my friend and my brother up in the Panhandle, Florida, Greg Smith. How you doing today, Greg?
I'm doing good, Mark. I'm waiting with bated breath. It's 10:29 right now in the morning Central Time, and at noon, Miami Dolphins kick off their march to greatness for 2025. So we play the
Right.
Bears today, and from
Yeah.
all accounts, our defensive secondaries may be one of the worst of all time. And Tua threw three picks the other day in a scrimmage against these same Bears. So we'll see how it goes today. I'm hoping they show it. And I'm not doing nearly as well as you are, man, with that new stadium. What's going on there?
Oh,
When is
yeah.
that
Well,
opening? You
yeah.
you
Well, the
went
Bills kicked off their preseason mediocrity yesterday, giving up like 36 points to the Giants, who may be the worst team in football. But it's preseason, so you have to remind yourself that. No, we got season tickets for the new stadium up in Buffalo that's opening not this year, next year. So that was pretty cool. Me and my buddy Kirk, my brother up there in Buffalo. We've been friends since we were like 7 or 8 years old. And before I moved to Florida, I had not missed a home game in like 35 years in Buffalo. And then we had season tickets, and I kept them for the first couple of years that we lived in Florida. But we just weren't getting back, and I wish I'd have kept them, but we let them go. And we still go to like 3, 4 games a year, and then we had an opportunity to get season tickets in a new stadium, and we ponied up and ponied up the fees, and we I'll put a picture of where we're sitting, and when I do the show edit and everything. So yeah, we'll be in the new stadium, and was that 2026 fall of, so that'll be
uh,
great.
outstanding. Now, those pictures you took with your wife, I'm assuming that that's not the finished product on the stadium yet. It's like artist renderings or what?
Yeah, our so the first two pictures were the one is our seat view, and then the second one is what it's supposed to look like.
That's
And
cool.
rumor has it that that won't be totally completed in 2026. It'll be ready for fans and football, but not everything's going to be done until like 2027. But
Well,
they'll have it all.
yeah, just watch out for falling beams and stuff if they're telling you that, man.
Yeah,
So
well,
are you
it
how
ended
many
up
are you
being
planning
like
on going? How many are you
what's
planning
that?
on going to the first year, you think?
We'll probably go to 3 or 4,
And
and
what do you
then
do with the other ones? Not to give away your trade secrets.
I'm not allowed to say what I may do with the other ones because
Yeah,
that's against the rules. But
right.
the my daughter Dane is a huge Bills fan, and she lives in the DC area, so
Okay,
they'll probably go drive up for like a 1 o'clock game. They can go up and get back home before, you know, 1 or 2 in the morning. So.
sure. Well, that's cool. That's cool. Congratulations on the new
Yeah,
stadium.
thank you. It was exciting. It was kind of unexpected. We'd hoped that we would be able to, and Dr. Ford had set some money aside for the personal seat license and all that crap. And
That's ridiculous.
yeah, well, it wasn't bad. Again, the Bills have had the lowest ticket prices in the NFL for years, and I mean, I have no problem telling you what the PSL was, and it's going to blow people's minds in comparison to other cities. It was $1,000.
Oh wow. Okay, so that Dallas is like 50 grand, isn't it, or
Yeah.
something
So
crazy?
it's 1,000. So for one seat, where it varies based like on where you are, but I know a lot of those new stadiums, there's no variation. It's you're paying what you're paying. So again, I'm really thankful. The Bills do things right and they try to keep it affordable. And I'm really grateful for that because I think the vibe is going to change a lot. I think that the Bills Mafia and a lot of that feeling that surrounds the team is going to go away, but
Yeah.
it is nice that they are trying to keep it economical. And
Working class.
I mentioned before, I do hope that they have like they did in Dallas, where they have those $25 the standing room areas, and I think
Yeah.
they have it in Pittsburgh. I think they have it up in New England. I hope they do that in Buffalo because they reduced capacity to 62,000, and you're taking a lot of the real fans out. So I hope that they do something like they did in Dallas, where they have 7 or 8 thousand seats at our standing room, or they have an area. But at least you're there, you're at the stadium, you're part of the game day thing. Your view might not be the best or whatever, but you're there, and
Yeah.
I hope that they do that in Buffalo.
Well, yeah, that's a working class city, and those y'all are some rabid fans. I wish they would build a new stadium for Miami because rumor has it the reason we're so bad is because we're on an Indian burial ground. So, and it's not in, I don't know about the worst place in town, but it's in a weird place in Miami. And I just
It's
don't,
rough. Yeah.
yeah, the Orange Bowl vibe is just gone,
Mm,
and I wish they'd
yeah.
bring that back, maybe move it down a little further south like it used to be. So,
Yeah, we come down for the Miami game, and yeah, it's not easy, and it sucks because it takes us like 2.5 hours to get there, and then like last year we went, and it took us an hour and a half to go a half a mile once you get by the
yeah,
stadium.
yeah.
So this year we're gonna ride the train down and try to eliminate that,
It
because
gets off right by the stadium too, doesn't it?
they say so. We're gonna ride the
Yeah.
train down, and hopefully that'll make it a little better.
Well, that's cool. Well, here's to a good season for both of us. We'll see how it goes, man.
Yeah.
I'm the least optimistic I've been in 15 years with this team. So maybe this is the year we'll get to the
Yeah.
playoffs and win a game, even
Yeah,
maybe.
well,
Who
I'm the
knows?
most optimistic. I don't, over the last year, I said I felt this was the year, even before last year, that this was the year, and I still feel that this is the year that the Bills will win the Super Bowl. I think the defense, despite what they showed yesterday, again, the fan base is going crazy, and it's like, come on, people,
Yeah. How
it's
long
been
did the
pretty,
starters play yesterday?
like a minute.
Yeah,
Josh didn't
exactly.
play, and they looked okay. There were some
Josh
decent.
didn't play, and y'all still put up 25.
We scored, yeah, 25, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All
We
right.
looked good. Well, Mike White proved that he's not really an NFL quarterback. You know that from when he was in Miami.
Yeah.
Trubisky looked great, man. Trubisky looked great. So if something were to happen to Josh, he'll be all right there. Mike White will find himself up in Canada. And
Yeah.
no, they look good. The defense was terrible, but that's to be expected.
Steal of the draft. I'm saying it right now. Quinn Ewers. We got him in the 7th round, and he's lighting it up. So we'll
Good.
see how it
Good.
goes. We'll see how it goes. You got some cards of the week, man?
I do. I have a few back in school mode. The kids are back tomorrow, so we've been in preseason school for a week, which much like preseason football, preseason school really, I would rather smash my head against the wall than
So what do you? All right, let me ask. What do you do in preseason school? You just decorating the room, get
Yeah,
everything
well, we
ready, or
decorate the room, and then there's training things we have to go through on how not to, how to treat the kids and this and that, and then they change some of the programs and things that we do. And it's more of like a bonding experience too with the teachers, and we get to hang out outside of like the pressure of having kids in the building, and
right?
so I mean, basically, there's a lot of like training and things like that, and a lot of getting a room together, and because especially room six takes a while to get together, so when they come in, they're not
Oh
staring at
yeah.
the walls. So yeah, I'm ready. I got all my stuff up, and we'll let them decorate it with their achievement. And last year's gone, but 45 grads, and we did great. We got to that 3 class completions per month number. I was hoping for 4, but we did make it to 3. That 150 was the number, Greg. So you're familiar. People that are watching, what's he talking about? But Greg knows people. Greg knows. So we got to
I do.
150. So 200s to go,
Nice.
but that means kids are finishing 1 class a week. So we're
Now,
almost.
are you going to be able to are you going to get to a point eventually with that school or with the way that the program runs where you're at saturation where you can like only do so much unless you get more kids, or is that not really a way that works?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, theoretically, anything's
Yeah,
possible. You
sure.
could, but I mean, right now we don't have a lot of kids because we graduate 175 kids. So,
Right. Well, I guess maybe a better way to ask that question is do you have a ratio? Like if you have 20 kids and you normally have 40.
mhm. Oh, it's going to be better. Yeah, the less
Yeah,
kids obviously are better, and that's what I'm going to tell the kids is the first couple of weeks take advantage of this because what you do is it's no different than sports. What the games you play in May and baseball matter in October. The same thing with
yeah,
football. The September games, every game's important, and we don't want to be at the end of the year where we're trying to get everybody in the lifeboat and you need one more class or 2 more classes. It's like,
right.
look, if you would have been sleeping in August and September, you wouldn't be in this position. And honestly, it's the time to go because I might have only 10 kids. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a lot of me time. Mr. Ford's right there in the middle of the room. Let's go.
Oh yeah.
We could get it done. So, and then as the year progresses, you fill up, and we might have 30 kids. Now, all of a sudden, I can't give everybody. So it's to their benefit when there's less kids, and I tell them take advantage of that. So I'll preach that the first couple of days that we need to take advantage of these first few weeks because those of you that are coming back are going to be leaders in the room, and I
Right.
need you to help keep this culture that we've built going. And also it's going to benefit you because you're going to be able to knock out, a class a week, two classes a week, really make some progress. So when we do get these kids in, and being honest, there's going to be behavioral problems, there's going to be issues that we normally don't deal with the room six until we
Right.
get these people dialed in because it takes time. New kids,
Sure.
it takes time. So I mean that's how
Right.
that
Right.
rolls. Yeah. So
Well, I wish you luck, and I
thank
think you
you.
can break that record, man. So
No,
so
I'm
hit the ground
we
running.
got a mountain to climb because it was so great last year. But we'll see. If we come close, I'll be happy. You
Yeah.
know,
All right.
but
Let's see what you got. What you got
cards
for
of the
cards of
week.
the
No
week?
kidding. Yeah, no shit, man. Cards of the week. I just went off on a tangent. Sorry, people. It was a baseball card show, but this is what I do. Cards are not my entire life. But for today, my cards of the week. Um, I got a couple modern guys, and we've talked about how I think Mike Trout is overrated, and I don't get the hype. So I have a couple rookie cards of two players I think are better than Mike Trout. I
Oh,
got
this would be good.
Freddie Freeman.
Okay.
And different position, first base. We got Freddie Freeman in the eight. That's his 2011 Bowman rookie card.
That's a sweet
Again,
card, man.
yeah, I like it. It's really sharp. Again, it's not going to have a lot of resale value, but I don't care. I just want to have a card of his. So
Yeah.
I'd like to have a few of these guys in the modern era that maybe
Well,
gets
he's
it
got a
eight.
chance. He's got a legit chance at 3,000 hits and like 400, 500 home
Yeah,
runs.
he's a Hall of Famer, no
Oh
doubt.
yeah. Yeah.
And this guy is a Hall of Famer. My next one. This is an 8.5, and that's Bryce Harper.
Okay.
I
Nice.
mean, to
Yeah.
me,
Right.
Bryce Harper, I love this card. And, Bryce, that's an 8.5, 2012 tops update. So that's really
That's
cool.
very cool. I'm going to grab a card that I forgot about. So hold on.
Yeah, no worries. I'll keep talking while you're getting that. So yeah, so I think that Mike Trout he's only put up 7 or 8 years of the greatness. He hasn't really done much in the last 4 or 5 years. And for my opinion, I think Bryce Harper is the best player of this generation, outside Otani and Judge. But I mean, Harper has been doing it, and he's been doing it for a long time. So if
Yeah.
Otani can do that, fine. Same Freddie Freeman, consistent for what, nearly 15 years now.
Lifetime
Freddie
300 hitter, I believe.
Freddie Freeman's been doing it for a long
Yeah.
time, very consistent. So while his, best seasons aren't like Trout's had a couple, astronomical years. Judge has had a few astronomical years. Let's see him do it for 10, 12, 15 years. So those
Right.
are my
Right.
cards of the week, Freddie Freeman and Bryce Harper. Shout out to Shasta Ford on that because he's like, hey, Dad, you got to get Freddie Freeman and Bryce Harper. So I picked
Yeah.
those up.
Smart girl. Smart girl.
Well,
That's
she's into
definitely
baseball, and she's at the
okay.
Little League World Series right now. So, she's getting that all set up and ready to go. So she's up in Williamsport.
Man, I bet that's fun. I bet she really looks forward to that, huh?
Oh, it's her favorite. She loves Little League World Series, and
Oh, I
she
bet.
always brings me home a new hat or something from there every year, and I love it. I hope to go. I'm hoping that Dr. Ford can get up there and go.
Yeah.
She had some things going on, but
Have you been to Williamsport? How it's a pretty small town, isn't it?
oh, it's tiny. It's small. It's gotten bigger. I mean,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania is weird like that. There's like 20,000, 30,000 people, towns and cities all throughout the state. And it's like in the valley. It's beautiful. Yeah, I've been up there and through there. I lived like 2 hours from there before I came here. So
Okay.
we would go down through there. It's on Route 15. If people aren't familiar, Bucknell University,
Yeah.
it's not that far from Bucknell.
Okay. Cool. Well, those are cool. Those are great cards, and you started showing me that kind of stuff and people that you think are going to be in the Hall of Fame. I think both of those guys are Hall of Famers for sure. So I pulled this. Now this guy's got a place in my heart for the Red Sox, and I got this. This came out in 2013, I believe, or 2011 when it.
It's 2011, yeah.
Yeah, 2011 rookie. It says so. Chris Sale, the Heritage rookie card, 1962. Not my favorite set, but it looks cool. Do you have any comments on what you think his Hall of Fame chances are?
No, I
If you
think
look at his numbers,
definitely.
they're great.
Yeah, his numbers are great. He's got titles, right? He's won World
Yeah,
Series, and I
Cy
think,
Young, and he won
yeah,
the Cy Young last year.
yeah,
Um, you know, the highest strikeout rate in I think in all time.
yeah. I have some of
Um,
his. I think I have a couple of relic cards, uniform cards.
yeah,
It's
yeah. So I don't know. I think maybe he's got a chance if he
he
has
got a
one or two
chance.
more good seasons. I think he might do it.
What's
So
what's crazy and what's wild and it pertains to Sal almost is I love Jacob deGrom. I watched him
yeah,
play at Stetson when we first moved here. I saw deGrom in college, Corey Kluber, Logan Gilbert, all those guys that are coming out of Stetson. And DeGrom was amazing, and I think it's great that he's recaptured that. It's similar to Trout. I mean, DeGrom had 4 or 5 great, amazing years, and four or
yeah.
five years now of nothingness. But here he is, like now 34, 35, and having a good year, and
Yeah, Trout's average. Yeah, Degrom has really come back strong, and I was wondering if he really was going to pitch much
so if he
anymore.
can put up, if DeGrom can put up 5 or 6 years, pitch into his early 40s,
Yeah,
he could get back on that trajectory. He's never going to
right.
win 200 games, but if he can get up into the 170, 180,
Yeah.
same thing with Sal. That metric has changed from like 300
Oh
wins,
yeah.
maybe even
Now
like
it's 200. 200 is the
200.
new
Yeah,
300 in my opinion.
exactly. I agree that totally.
Yeah, but so Degrom and then Mike Trout's average isn't there, but he's hitting for power this year. So
Mhm.
he's all. I don't know. He's going to get four. He might already have 400
He
home
got
runs.
400. Yeah, he got there.
Yeah,
He just hit
but
it a couple weeks ago.
did he? But yeah, I
Mhm.
think I'd still think he's a Hall of Famer. I know you think he's overrated. I would tend to agree with you, just basically for the fact that he hasn't been able to stay on the field. If for no other reason than that. Um, I think any talk of him like being the all-time best player,
No, no, he's not.
that's way, way, way out the window. And they were talking about that, in
Yeah, well,
2013, 14.
when the meteor, was going, you have to
Mhm.
look at the landscape of the league at that time,
Yeah,
and so he was far and above, what was going on at that time frame, and I think that
right.
the level of talent in MLB is really raised up, and I think the personality has as well.
Yeah, yeah.
They've
Let
done
me
a
ask
great
you
job.
this. I mean, and I may be putting you on the spot, and you may not even know, but Kyle Schwarber. I mean,
Right.
he's got 42 home runs. He's hit 40, 38. He's going to have 400 home runs. Um, do you think he's got any chance?
Sure, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially
I mean,
now that this is the era of clean, right? Where they're not doing roids and all that stuff,
yeah,
putting the
yeah,
needle in their ass. So
right.
I think
I don't
that,
know. He's fun to watch though, man. It's all or nothing with him usually.
yeah,
So,
it's crazy.
all right, my next card of the day, Ryan saves the day.
All right.
So, the 1970 Nolan Ryan is astronomical. I don't have one currently, but this is a nice substitute. I got this pretty cheap
Mhm.
outside of Facebook. But Ryan saves the day. I've always thought that was a pretty cool card. When he was with the Mets, he wasn't really highly regarded. I don't think. Um,
No,
the way they gave him to the Angels, and he was more of a relief pitcher. But I guess he did really well in that World Series, the amazing Mets World Series. So Ryan saves the day. That's one of them. Then this one here, I didn't even realize this was like $6. Don Zimmer. That's his rookie card. So I didn't know that was Don Zimmer's rookie card. And I kind of have a love-hate relationship with Don Zimmer. He was the manager of the 78 Red Sox who blew the 14-game lead, but he was with them for several years and then, really is more of a Yankees man at heart.
yeah.
But I just always thought Don Zimmer, he was a part of my childhood and I remember him well from when I was a kid. So
Didn't like
to have
Pedro
his
whip his ass or something? Was that
oh
Pedro?
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
Pedro.
something.
Pedro gave him a beatdown, and Pedro got a lot of heat for that.
Oh yeah, that was in the
Bro, I remember that. Yeah,
2003 playoffs. That was
yeah,
that was at the zenith of the Yankees Red Sox
yeah.
rivalry. It hasn't been the same since Boston's won a
Pedro
few.
like, come on, old man, and he threw him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he runs out and Pedro and Clemens are pitching, and Pedro throws at Kareem Garcia of all people for some
Yeah.
reason, and then Clemens comes back and throws one that wasn't really that close at Manny
Manny,
Ramirez,
yeah.
and so Manny gets mad. He comes pointing, and that just set it all off. And then the next thing you see is Pedro running out there and Zimmer. Oh no, Zimmer running at Pedro.
Yeah, Zimmer went after Pedro.
And Pedro just goes whoosh,
Yeah,
just kind of like
dusted him
throw
off.
it. Yeah, he didn't punch him. He threw him
No,
down on the
threw him on the
ground.
ground.
Yeah, and I just remember clearly Joe Buck and Tim McCarver were just like, "Oh, that's awful."
The end of the
Yeah,
world. Yeah, like Pedro is Satan, man. Like Pedro's
yeah,
gonna burn in hell. Pedro is, Pedro Beelzebub Martinez, Nosferatu. I
right,
love that Pedro was like, hey, afterwards, old man shouldn't have been out there.
right,
he
right.
didn't,
Yeah.
he didn't show any remorse, man.
Well,
Pedro was like, old man shouldn't have been out there.
yeah, he's right. I mean,
Puppy don't want his ass kicked. Stay on the bench. I was like,
right.
Pedro, God
And Zimmer
bless.
was charging him like he was going to do something.
Yeah.
It's like-
And Pedro
it's
was
like,
now Pedro. I don't think Pedro should. I never showed any remorse on that. He's like, hey, you should have stayed on the bench.
right, right. And yeah, that was something else, man. I was watching that. I was in Destin at a
Yeah.
family reunion of all things, and it was raining. Right,
Yeah.
like we got rained out basically for 5 days, and I watched that series, and man, even the people who weren't my family who weren't baseball fans were like, "Man, this is awesome," you
Yeah, it was
know.
nuts.
And Tim McCarver was disgusted. He's like, "I'm so disgusted. This can't happen." If you ever get a chance, go back and watch that
Oh
clip.
yeah,
It's great.
definitely. I remember it. Like, yeah, Joe Buck was probably high on pills, and
Right, right. Yep. All right, I got two more. So some Folly Man. I got a
oh,
1981
nice.
traded Fernando Valenzuela
That's cool.
EX5. So I'm not really sure why it got a 5, but I mean it's off center.
Yeah, the dark arts of grading, right?
Right. I don't know why you'd send that in. It's not very centered.
Yeah, it's got a
Um,
rounded corner up there, top right, I
oh
think.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are people thinking sometimes with this? Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, that is rounded. Whoa. So I don't know, but then I've got another. I'm not even really sure where I got this. It's a 19, and I may have shown this on the show, and if I have before, I apologize. It's a 1992 Upper Deck David Robinson. So it's like a fourth year
Mm.
David Robinson, and it's authentic. So it
Wow.
didn't even get a number grade. It's just
Somebody trimmed
authentic.
that thing or something, right? Thinking like that's hilarious.
Yeah. So I'm
Well,
gonna
that set you
trim.
back like $5 or
I think it was. I actually think it was a freebie in a sale.
yeah.
Somebody just didn't want it. They're like, man, I got to give this away to somebody.
Somebody
So
messed with the fourth year super extended rookie David Robinson.
right, right, yeah. I mean, I like the Admiral fine, but I mean, why would you trim a fourth year? Why would you trim anything really anyway? Just
Mm.
it's I think that's gross, but why would you do that to this card? I don't
Well, I got
understand.
that Eddie Robinson. So that card's beautiful, man. But
Yeah.
it's they think it's trimmed, so it is what it is.
Well, but yours is like a 60, 70-year-old card. This
Yeah,
is
52. Yeah,
this
top.
is junk wax
Yeah,
at
exactly.
its finest. And to do that, I don't understand that. That's somebody with way too much time on their hands right there. So anyway, those are my cards of the week. I just figured I was looking through my slabs and I'm like, well, that is really some Folly of Man right there. Both of those, the Valenzuela and the David Robinson,
Yeah.
but they're mine and I love them. So
Yeah,
there you go.
I'm gonna try to grab a couple cards today. For my PC. I just haven't been this last couple weeks been busy.
Right.
Update on that 57 Aaron, that's gone. So I
Yeah.
did get my money back on that. The guy sent me the money back on that 57 Aaron. But that stopped tracking on July 5th and never moved out of wherever it
Wow.
was in Ohio. It was on its way to someplace in Virginia, and then it would have been to me. And that thing stopped tracking in Ohio on July 5th. And I waited 30 days and I said,
Yeah.
hey, you're funding the money. So,
Well, that's
and
good.
I sent a bunch of stuff up to my daughter Dane, and it showed delivered, and she never got it. So the postal service is really doing some batty shit lately.
Yeah,
Um,
it seems like it's taken longer. I've
mhm.
I've got somebody who was sending me some stuff to sell that got lost and it just disappeared.
Yeah.
Or right around the same time as yours, it just never moved.
Yeah. So I didn't get that. I sent stuff to my daughter. They said delivered. They obviously took it to the wrong place. She lives in like a complex, but they're doing crazy stuff. But the one thing that struck me, we talked about real quick. I see all this controversy on card condition and sales, and people are upset that the cards aren't what they think they are, should be as a buyer, and then sellers upset. I see a rise in that lately in all the 900 different pages that we buy cards from.
Hmm.
And I've been selling cards for a long time now. You have too. I know that I have never used the term any type of grade, mint, excellent, poor, condition. I don't think you do either. I very rarely have I seen you. So I let the pitchers do the talking. I'll say like my sale yesterday, sharp, beautiful, looks good, but I'm not gonna give a what I feel it's mint or if it's near mint, or I never, never, never do that. So as a seller, you can save yourself a lot of aggravation. If somebody gets a card and they're like, well, it really isn't what I thought it was, and it's like, what do you mean? I never said it was anything other than this is a 19, 58, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And then also as a buyer, you don't have that expectation. Because I bought cards and tried to burn them on our show, and they were, because they were so horrible they wouldn't even burn.
Right.
So with that, those based on a description should have burned because they were supposedly minty and packed fresh and freaking amazing.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is a buyer. This great. Now we're talking about cards
Hey.
instead of all my other crazy stuff. Now we're on to the cards finally, people. I apologize. So God bless. But as a buyer, lower your expectations, and they should be tempered, because regardless of what the jackass seller, not, and I'm gonna use this because there's a couple that use this terminology exclusively, and it's theoretically impossible. And that is minty fresh, packed fresh, mint on cards that are from the 60s, and that's not possible. You can open up a pack of cards from 1967. They're not going to be minty. They're not going to be packed fresh, because especially with the gum, because the gum raises holy hell.
Yeah.
There's
Oh yeah.
deterioration, there's mold, there's this, there's that. It's banging around. You're going to have corners that are dicked up. I mean, it's just the way it is. So if you think you're going to get something that's minty or packed fresh from back in the day, it's not going to happen. Because if it
Right.
was minty and packed fresh, it's going to be in a slab and it's going to have a 9 or a 10 on it.
Right. Right. Yeah. That I see that a lot. I see it all the time where people are just over describing stuff, and I purposely stay away from trying to even.
All right.
Certainly, one, don't guess it in a numerical grade. You shouldn't ever do that, really. And then two, stay away from the EX, the old school grading scale. Stay away from it. Just take good pictures. Make sure they're not blurry. Um, I don't know why that's so hard for people to take good pictures and just shut up. Because I mean that's really what you should
Right.
do. And if you get asked questions in the comments, like I had those hockey cards that I was selling,
Yeah.
and they're nice, but I didn't say beautiful. I said they're in good shape. What I said was they're in good shape.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's open to interpretation. They're in good shape. And then if people start asking specific questions in the comments, then I'll try to answer them.
Yeah.
Are there any creases? Are there any surface scratches? So I'll look at it a little bit closer and answer the question. People are trying way too hard to be salespeople in
Yeah.
these, and it's because they're just salespeople at heart, or maybe they're worried about the competition, or they're trying to maximize what they get for stuff. But you're setting yourself up for a lot of problems if you are over describing your cards, in my opinion. So I've had two cards out of, I don't even know how many thousands of cards I've sold, come back as, well, this wasn't what you said it was.
Yeah.
And we've talked about both of them on the show. So why would you set yourself up for someone to be disappointed? That's what I don't understand. So I'm just very careful, and approving all the posts that I do, for that group. You wouldn't believe some of the stuff we decline. People are just like, this is the best copy of this card I've ever seen. All right, well, why isn't it in a slab? You know what
Exactly.
I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah,
I
so
fully
people
agree with
need to use, yeah, in both ways, buyer and seller. I just noticed a rise in the last few weeks of that type of back and forth between people, and
you. Yeah.
it's like, use your damn brains. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like that. It's like that we were talking about before the show, that guy bought all those 1978s. and I'm not going to get into who the seller and the buyer were, but he bought the 78s. Doesn't bother. He bought 1,400 cards. Doesn't bother to tell us how much he spent. So,
No.
If it was $100 for 1,400 cards, what do you expect? Now, it probably wasn't knowing who the seller was, but at the same time, that's relative too. That matters what you spent on something. So
Yeah.
if you spend $100 on a lot and that's worth 400 and it's not quite to your specifications, I'm getting into semantics here, but just temper
Well,
your
it's
expectations, like
communication
you said,
too
on
as
both
well.
sides.
I think communication is a lost art form in general,
Right.
and I like how I do my sales and I'm more of the cultural and about the relationships and get a bang out of it and enjoy it. I run a nonprofit. It's just a nonprofit, something in, something out. I'm not here to lose money. So when I say I don't care about the money, that's not entirely true, full disclosure, right? So if I spend $100 on something, I want to bring 100 back in, vice versa. Nonprofit, zero, 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 zero it out.
Sure.
So,
And if you
you
do
know,
make a profit, you're spending it on something else.
you're right,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
And but that said, the relationships that we build. So this is a good story. I've been waiting to tell this one for a while. No, I'm gonna name the name of the person to help me out. I'm not gonna name the name of the person that I effed up on. So, and I've said a bunch of times, I never made a mistake, never had a card come back, this, that, the other thing. I'm on point. Well, Mr. Ford made a mistake. So I
Do I know this story?
right, you know this story. This is a great
Okay. All
story.
right.
No, you
Go ahead.
might not. You may not know the whole thing. So, anyways, because it's kind of embarrassing, shame. But again, I'm an open book, full disclosure. So let's pretend we're in room 6 now, and the kids ask me a question. I'm gonna give them an answer. So part of the problem is that I'm not gonna throw anybody under the bus, but like right now, sitting over here, I have a pile of cards. Now I'm gonna have to chase these people for days to get my money and all that, and to get them to pay. Which I don't care about the money. These are $10, $5, $8.
I
Just
need to know who they are if they don't.
right. My life is busy. I don't sell cards for a living. I work, no, I'm a teacher now and Dean Ford and all that crap. So, but that's part of the problem. So I put person A's cards into send them to person B.
Oh,
So person B, I said, oh my God, what have I done? Because I want to put, but I still had his cards. So I want to put his card. I'm like, why do I still have his cards? I just sent him his cards. I'm like, oh my God. So I got a hold of the person, Brooke Allman, and I said, hey, I
you're
said,
lucky. You're lucky it was somebody like him.
like Breck. So I said, Breck, hey brother, I really messed up here. I sent you, I'm just gonna say, Bob Smith's cards, but I'm
Yeah.
also sending you your cards because, and so I put the label for Bob Smith's cards in with his cards with Brock. I said, can you move that on for me? And then I put our show sticker on the right ones so he knew. So he didn't even have to open up the wrong ones. They came to his cards they came at the same time, put the label on and sent him on its way. So, Bob Smith has no idea that his cards were routed through and they made it and anything. But my point being is that, I have the relationship and not just with Brock. I know I could count on Matt Mosier and Chris Frank and Richard Kaborka and Marty Klotz, and the list goes on and on and on.
Sure.
Yourself. So, don't, forget that this is about people and any hobby or any activity or any endeavor is about people. You make a mistake, you own up to it. Because I have had a few where, actually, there's a card in here for my cell that I'm just going to give it to the guy because I didn't catch a crease in it. I'm just going to say, hey, I'm not going to charge you for it. I can't, it's not what it needs to be. And it's a dollar card. Now, I
Right.
could be, Mr. Money, gimme, 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 and try to slip it through. And it may slip through because you really have to. But I just saw it.
Yeah.
So it's a
You take
dollar.
you take pride in what you're doing.
Exactly. So I'm gonna say, hey man, I'm not gonna charge you for this. My bad. I didn't see it. I caught it in the light when I was putting your stuff together. So, don't hesitate to form the relationships and if you do make a mistake, own up to it. But if I had not, had the relationship with Brock, then that would have been really embarrassing because
Yeah.
and also, I trusted him and we got it done. But thank you, Brock Allman, for saving me on that. We'll just use Bob Smith as the person that got the cards, but and then it also too, Breck he didn't want anything for that or any attention, but he might get mad that I brought it up here and named him, but it was a good outing that he's one of the
Yeah.
good guys, just like
Right. Right.
we try to highlight the people that are good as well. So yes, I sent the wrong cards to him, and then I sent him his cards, and then his cards were the label for the wrong cards. It went to where they had to go, and I cannot thank him enough for that. And
I've
we had
actually
a
done
great
that
laugh
myself.
about it, and I said,
Yeah.
I'm going to eventually tell the story because it's too funny.
Yeah. I've done that a couple times myself,
Right.
shipping 100 packages a month or whatever
Mhm.
it is, that happens.
Yeah.
And both times they've been made right by the people cooperating. And, I credited shipping a couple times, just one time it was kind of a pain in the butt for the guy, but, yeah, it's all about relationships. So I've got a circle of probably 30 or 35 people now that I can think of
Mhm.
that if that happened, I'd be like, okay, thank God it was one of these guys,
Yeah.
and that's because
Yeah.
you cultivate the relationships the way that I do. I try to. So
The
many,
other thing too, though, when it gets back to communication and relationships, reach out to the people. Like nobody's ever to know the name of the person that, I didn't get the 1957 Hank Aaron from because really it wasn't his fault. But even if it was, your first course of action should not be to go to your page or to out these people and say, hey, this happened. And, try to work it out behind the scenes. And I think that
right?
that's a problem too. People want that, like, oh, look at me, and everything's inflammatory, and let's pour fire, pour gas on the fire, so to speak, and
Yeah,
you know, try to be the solution, not the problem. Be the fire
right,
extinguisher. Don't be the gasoline,
right, right. And
right?
if somebody does have a legitimate beef with something you did, if you're doing this as a quote, even if you're not, but if you take pride in what you're doing it as a business, you're doing it as a nonprofit, take pride in what you're doing, make things right, act like you're running, even if you're not running a business, act like you're running a business, treat it that
Right.
way, make people happy so they'll be confident buying from you. I don't know why that's so hard for some people. With the 1978 issue, the the seller sells a ton of cards. Why would you not just make it right? I don't, there's the ratio of people who bitch about the condition and stuff is so low. It's such a one off that why would you not go out of your way to make somebody happy? I don't know. I don't. People are just hard headed and tone deaf, and I think that a lot of it stems from just the whole show mentality and how people are at shows. They just don't want to. There's
Yeah.
there's not a lot of personality in this hobby sometimes.
No, we're different. I'm different. You're different. I know I'm way different. I'm a load of personality. Trust me, Greg knows I temper it down for this show.
Right.
But that's the thing. Yeah, just be, how would you like to be treated? And
Right.
I know that, I sometimes it seems like I take great joy in outing people, and I really don't.
We
Um,
don't really out that many people
no,
at all, to be
I
honest.
don't want to, but
We could.
sometimes you just kind of have to. And like the cardboard adults, I mean, they might be headed for another one. So
Yeah.
it's not that I want to, but some people just continually step in shit, so to speak, and they can't help it. And other people need to be aware that, when you're dealing with these people, it's throwing a dart at the dartboard. And
Right.
that's kind of the
Caveat
hope we
emptor
have
for
too.
sure.
We have a pretty good forum. We're not monsters, but we get some views, we got some traction. Some people know who we are, and I feel it's a responsibility to, hey, look, if you deal with XYZ, it could go sideways
Yeah.
because now my shit's going sideways with them again after a couple decent transactions for whatever reason. I just couldn't
Yeah.
believe that. I could not believe that they didn't send me my cards.
Yeah. I don't.
You know,
I
again,
can't either.
again, for the
Yeah.
third freaking time, and
Now,
it was not a huge amount, but it was a decent amount of money. It wasn't like I spent $10. You know,
has that been all
no,
right? But maybe this is another topic for another show, but
yeah,
that's still in progress, though, right?
yeah. I've not got tracking. I don't know what the frick's going on.
Well, well, I'd
Here we
say by
go
Tuesday,
again.
if you don't get it, twist his arm again.
Oh, if by Tuesday I don't get it, I'm just gonna give you my damn money back. And
Yeah.
here we go again, and I'm gonna go scorched earth on our show, and I'm gonna light your shit on fire again, and we're gonna have that again. We're gonna have the reunion lighting of cards on fire show, and we're gonna have
Yeah.
a good time flaming some stuff up.
Well, but you won't have any cards to light on fire, Mark.
True. Oh, you're right.
Hoping for the best.
Facsimile. You're
Hoping for
right.
the best.
You're right. You're right. I won't have anything to light on fire. I'll use something as a stand. An effigy. That's what it's called, people. An effigy. Not the actual cards, but it'll be theoretical cards from them. And it'll
Well,
be,
you've got enough tonnage laying around, I'm
I
sure, that
do. We
you
can
could
torch
you
some
could
tonnage.
torch some
So,
tonnage. The tonnage torch.
yeah.
That's funny. You got anything else you want to talk about today,
No,
man?
that's it, man. That's a good show. It's
Yeah.
good. Love it. Thank you again,
Cathartic, man.
everybody.
It's always a good release.
Yes, and shout out to Dr. Ford. All the best to her. Her business is her business, but big shout out to her. So if anybody's thoughts and prayers type of person, thank you for all that too. So God
Absolutely.
bless.
Well, I'm going to give a shout out to my wife. It was her birthday yesterday, and we had a nice dinner last night with the kids and their friends, and it was just a real festive time. So
Excellent.
happy birthday to my wife, and thoughts and prayers to your wife, and I think everything's going to work out, man.
Oh yeah.
And go Dolphins.
Go Dolphins, go Bills, and we'll see y'all in a week or two. Thank you, everybody.